Hey, what's up, everybody? I am Jason, and you watch my channel, Micro Investor. So in this video, I want to talk to you guys about why I'm done with investing into oil stocks. So the reason why I used to invest in the oil stocks was just the dividend alone. I mean, there was no point to invest in it into oil stocks for anything else other than getting that really nice dividend. Exxon, Chevron, BP. Just amazing dividends that you can just sit back and just collect that money, passive income. And that's why a lot of people also invest in the oil stocks. So before I get too much into why I'm not investing into oil stocks anymore, let's talk about the stocks in general. Let's talk about Exxon. Over the last 365 days, Exxon is down 17%. Chevron, over the last 365 days, they're down over 8%. And BP, they're down over 12%. So one of the things that has really hurt the whole fossil fuel industry is climate change. Fossil fuels are just becoming more and more unpopular in general, and the governments are offering tax incentives. Governments all over the world are offering tax incentives to buy vehicles that produce less of a carbon footprint, if that either is hydrogen or electric. There's tax breaks. There's incentives to buy that stuff. China is a country that has terrible pollution, and the government there is trying to do a lot to offer incentives for people to buy cars that are all electric. So these electric vehicle markets are becoming bigger and bigger. When we got Tesla, just being a big surprise when everybody thought that company was going to fail. They're selling a bunch of vehicles, and 2020 they're saying that they're going to sell about 500,000 vehicles. But not only is Tesla going to do that, we got companies like Ford and GM and Toyota, etc. They're all making electric vehicles now as well, and there might be, a million electric vehicles sold in 2020. So that definitely does take a huge hit on the whole fossil fuel industry right there. So then there's going to be some people out there who are going to say, hey, there might be people that are going to be driving less fossil fuel vehicles, but the whole oil industry still has plastic. There's still a huge need for plastic. Plastic's a big thing. Everybody's going to need plastic. But plastic is also under attack as well. There's hemp. There's other plant-based products for plastic that is, starting to be used. There's also plastic products that are made to just be durable and last longer, where people aren't going to need to buy more stuff. But one big thing is the whole water bottle industry. We got Coca-Cola and Pepsi, who are big distributors of plastic water bottles, that are pledging to put less of a carbon footprint with plastic. They're looking more into aluminum. If you look at the stores nowadays, you're going to find actual water bottles that are made out of aluminum. It's becoming more and more common, and aluminum is pretty much 100% recyclable. And the technology has advanced so much with the way that they melt aluminum down that it just puts out less of a carbon footprint just recycling aluminum. So we covered fossil fuels as far as vehicles go, and plastics go. But what about the whole energy market? Because a lot of people like to bring that up. Well, the energy market is not really relied on fossil fuels. A lot of people are generating their own electricity on their roofs, or however, with solar power. That's becoming more and more popular, and it just goes to show that there's even more of a dying industry into fossil fuels. And you'd be surprised how much electricity is actually made off of wind power and dams. It's a much bigger thing. So there really is much less of a need for fossil fuels. So every time I make a video on this sort of topic here, there's always somebody that has to say, that's not going to work, because what's going to happen when you run out of power and your vehicle dies? Because people are going to say, I can get gas anywhere, but I can't find a charge station. You'll be surprised to know that charge stations have been popping up everywhere, and they're more and more common nowadays. In my town in Sacramento, where I live, I know where more charge stations are than I know where gas stations are. Because restaurants around here, they have charge stations. Walgreens, they have charge stations. Parking garages, charge stations. Libraries, parks, we have charge stations everywhere in my town. And people can also, of course, charge in their own house. But not only that, you'll be surprised to know on how many, random towns they are popping up. It's becoming more and more common everywhere. There is a whole network of these things, not just the Tesla supercharge stations, but just, other companies that are also doing the same thing. So these fossil fuel companies, there's going to be just a continued less and less demand. And they have these really high dividends, right? Exxon right now, of course, Exxon's making a profit, but did you know that after they pay that dividend to their shareholders, that there is hardly any money left over, believe it or not? And so if they continue to lose money, they are not going to have money to pay their shareholders their dividend. And this is something that's going to happen probably within the next year. So all this is obviously just my own personal opinion, but I'm curious to know what you think. What are your thoughts on the whole fossil fuel industry? Do you think that, these stocks, primarily the ones I'm talking about here, Exxon, Chevron, and BP, that they still have a huge future ahead of them, or do you think that these companies are going to be worth a lot less? Anyways, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. I have new videos coming out on my channel all the time. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.